Auzubillahi minash rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to week number 11, recorded lecture number 30. Well, today in this lecture, we are going to start ethics part of this course, as our course is business communication and ethics. So far we have covered business communication part, in which we covered both theoretical part, oral communication, and written communication. Now from this lecture onward, we are going to cover ethics part. So today is our first introductory lecture on ethics. Okay, so let us begin with this moral development, because ultimate purpose of inculcating ethical values among individuals are their moral development. And moral development is the gradual development of an individual's concept of right or wrong, right? As one word that has been focused and is important, that is gradual development. Like this moral development does not happen overnight, right? That within a week or within a day. It is gradual development, right? And the ultimate purpose is that the individuals in a society, they develop their understanding of right and wrong, right? And there are many factors that contribute towards development of this right or wrong sense. Like there is conscious factor is there, religious factor is the next one, religious values, social attitude, society also plays very important role, and certain behaviors are also there. So these all things put together, as a matter of fact, since child of birth of a child, these all factors, they play a significant role in moral development of an individual in a society, right? And even the purpose of this ethics part in this business communication and ethics is to do engineers like your professional moral development, right? Because profession is not the name of just knowing about your field. It's far beyond that, and it's more comprehensive. We will see what profession is, right, in upcoming slides. Well, quite often, uh, on the basis of my past experience uh, in physical classes, especially, that while discussing ethics, quite often students confuse ethics with law, right? And sometimes, there are many points they do not have clarity of them, and they think, well, if law is there, why would we require ethics? Well, law can do everything. There are rules and regulation. So in order to make these points clear, I have taken these few points that very clearly differentiate between uh, ethics and law, and the sources also mentioned. The points are given in this this one. So we have three columns here. The first column has basis for comparison. The second column is law, and the third column is ethics. Like the first basis of comparison is meaning. What is meaning of law and what is meaning of ethics? So discussing law first. Well, meaning in law means the law refers to a systematic body of rules that governs the whole society and the actions of its individual members. So law Number one, it's a systematic body of rules. Number two, it's applicable to the whole society and its individual members. Now let's try to understand what is meaning of ethics. Ethics is a branch of moral philosophy that guides people about the basic human conduct, right? So, the core purpose of ethics is to guide human beings for basic human conduct. Like being human, we are superior to other creatures. So, but being superior to other creatures, like the term we use in Urdu, Ashraful Makhlukat, we also need to have certain human conduct, you know, that are needed to interact with other humans and also with other living creatures, right? Now, the second basis of comparison is what is it? Now, for law, law is set of rules and regulation, whereas ethics is set of guidelines. It's not as specific as law. The third basis is governed by, well, law is governed by the government and ethics is governed by individual legal and professional norm. See, the most important person for ethical regulation is the individual, right? Because ethics is there even in where the law is absent, like you are alone in a room, and if somebody is morally and ethically developed, even his or her thoughts will remain positive, whereas a law enforcing agency cannot see what is going on in your mind and all that. But your ethical development is individual, it is within you, so it can govern you 24 hours a day. Well, third basis is expression. Law is expressed and published in writing, and ethics usually they are abstract, but now a lot of work has been carried out on ethics, and there is much publication on it, but still there are many areas where expert believe that it is expert. Now, violation, if law is violated, violation of law is not permissible, which may result in punishment like imprisonment or fine or both. Like courts are there, law enforcing agencies are there, like police is there, right? And for ethics, there is no punishment for violation of ethics. Once again, I would say it's for many personal ethics, but there is some governing in professional life. Companies have some ethical policies, and if somebody violates those policies, action can be taken, right? But generally speaking, we say that there is no punishment for violation of ethics. Well, objective for law is created with an intent to maintain social order and peace in the society, and and provide protection to all the citizen. That is objective of law. Whereas objective of ethics is, ethics are made to help people to decide what is right or wrong and how to act. So basic purpose of ethic is to develop people, to help them in making decision what is right and what is wrong and how they should act in certain conditions. Well, binding, law has a legal binding. Law bounds you to, follow traffic rules, to, you know, to follow your country law, right? Whereas ethics do not have a binding nature usually, right? Now, because as I have already said, when we go for professional ethics, different professions have their own code of ethics. Like we will see. PEC code of ethics is also there, that is Pakistan Engineering Council for engineers, right? So there is some work now, but it's just trying to understand the difference, that in general sense ethics do not have a binding nature, right? Okay, now there are uh, two more areas where students are quite confused. And again, on the basis of my past experience, I have observed in the classroom discussions and interaction with the students that quite often they are confused, or they have confusion between occupation and profession. Quite often they think they are the same thing. Well, broadly speaking, we may say they are the same, but if we go for comprehensive understanding of occupation and profession, well, they are different. For example, to begin with occupation, right? Well, occupation is the job that you are paid to do, the way one earns living. So this is very broad definition, and while keeping this in mind, uh, everything one does to earn living is occupation. For example, the job that you are paid to do and the way one earns living, like even a labor who one day does digging is earning from that, so that is his or her occupation. Second day, he or she may not get that digging job, and the person may also have some basic skills for painting, like painting the houses, right? So second day he may do that job to earn the living. Third day, he or me she may, like in our country usually he may sell the vegetable or fruits because he could not find anything else to earn the money. So they all are occupations, like we common occupations. I can say that these occupations can be like these small businesses that people do to earn the money, right? And they may change them, and they do not require any special sort of degree to join that occupation. Quite often they are need based, that they want to earn money. If they do not get job in one field, they can go to another one, but usually these fields are unskilled labor fields usually. Now professions, well, common definition of profession is any occupation that provides a means by which to earn a living. But this is very general definition of profession, right? In order to have comprehensive understanding of profession, let us see this list, the upcoming points that are needed for a profession. Like professions require, number one, degree or complete studies from an institution of higher education, right? So in order to be called professional, one should have, this is one condition, not the only one, right? One should have degree from, like you would be having your bachelor's of engineering degree, so you will become professional after completion of your degree. Second, professions require extensive training and special knowledge, right? One cannot become professional in a field just by having 1 month or 2 month short course, and then they cannot call themselves professionals in that particular area or field. Third, professions require advanced expertise, right? Like advanced expertise, like professions require sophisticated skills. Let's take an example. There are some in our country, like suppose if we take mechanical or civil or these major fields, there are also diplomas, DAE, diploma of associate engineer. And after completing those diploma, like suppose somebody completes diploma in electrical or mechanical or food or in any engineering, and there is another option that another person who has done BE, at least in that particular subject, in that particular area. Now, those with diploma, if they have some work experience, they may have, in the beginning, they may have better field knowledge as compared to a fresh engineer in that area, right? But usually their field is limited to the work only. Whereas, like for example, while doing your BE, it's not only that uh, you are guided or you are provided knowledge and expertise in your field only, like that is your specific field of engineering, materials or automotive or petroleum or telecom, whatever your field is. In addition to this, you are also provided other set of skills, soft skills. For example, your communication skills, your language skills, your behavior, right? Your critical skills, right? Your general knowledge, like including your Pakistan studies and your religious understanding or ethical understandings. Like at ND, we have two courses, Islamic studies, and those who do not take Islamic studies, they go for ethics course. So these all are those expertise that a professional has, and a professional is groomed with all these sophisticated skill sets. Then a professional has self regulation, that is autonomy of profession, right? Once you become professional, you can go for new innovations, of course on the basis of your past background, knowledge, understanding, experiment, observation. On those bases, they can have self regulation. Usually people who may be good at that specific work, but usually they do not go for new inventions and new regulations, right? Well, professionals also should think about public good. It's not only, a professional is not somebody uh, who just earns a lot of money and that's it. Well, in addition to earning money, or they also take care of public good in their every design, in their every job, in their every product, in their every service. They ensure their product, their service is not harmful for fellow human being, even for other creatures. So public good is very important, that professionals must have. So the profession serves some important public good, right? Some of the professions include, like, so these are some of the professions, like architect is a profession, doctor is a profession, engineer is a profession, teacher is a profession, and lawyer is a profession. So one requires a degree to work in these areas. Like one should have engineering degree to work as an engineer, or MBBS to work as a physician or a doctor, or an architecture degree to work as an architect, so on and so forth. So these all are professions. Now I hope there is some clarity between occupation and profession. So you are being prepared as professionals, right? So that's why your development in all areas other than your core subject areas, like uh, your petroleum area or materials area or telecom area, other than that, or food area, you also need to be very good at communication. You should be critical thinker, you know you should think about the social betterment, right? And of course we expect you to be making new innovations in your area, so on and so forth. Well, now becoming more specific, coming to what is engineering ethics, right? Well, these two definitions have been taken from Martin and Schwarzenegger, 2005. Definition number one: engineering ethics consists of the responsibilities and rights that ought to be endorsed by those engaged in engineering, and also of desirable ideals and personal commitments in engineering. Now, second definition: according as given by Martin and Schwarzenegger, is ev- engineering ethics is the study of decisions, policies, and values that are morally desirable in engineering practice and in engineering research. Now let's have this third one, engineering ethics. Well, engineers shall hold paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public in the performance of their professional duties, right? Accreditation Board of Engineering and Technology, right? You know, this is what is target of ethics among professionals, right? It's not only like somebody is good at engineering, somebody has invented an instrument and all that. That is very important, but in addition to that, while working on your technical products, engineer, according to this is this art this clause is almost part of every engineering ethical society, every engineering professional society. I've gone through professional code of ethics for many engineering societies, like Society for Civil Engineers, mechanical engineers, or like telecom engineers. If you every core area has their own ethical clauses or code. Like while we will go through Pakistan engineering ethics code of ethics, we will find similar clause there as well, right? That engineers shall hold paramount the safety and health and welfare of the public, right? It's not only making new inventions, but those inventions should also ensure safety, health, and welfare of the public in performance of their professional duties. So, if engineers have these three areas in their every design, in their every development, in their every inventions, so we would say that, well, they follow engineering ethics. They are going ahead with ethical values and professional ethical values. Well, another point may be that why study engineering ethics. Well, number one, it's important, right? Why it is important, as we have discussed in the previous two or three slides, that it's important because you require it for your every design and for your every product. Second, engineering ethics, as a matter of fact, ethics in general is complex. Here, our specific discussion is about engineering ethics. So, they say that engineering ethics is complex, right? Why is it complex? Let us discuss these 4 5 areas. We begin with the organization, the company where you will be working as an engineer, or as a later on you can go for the administrative positions also. Now, within the organization, you interact with your colleagues, people working with you of your own rank. You have to interact with your managers, your seniors, and then also you have to interact with your subordinates. So while working at these three levels, you have to maintain ethical values, at all three levels. How you interact with your seniors, how you interact with the people as of your rank or position or designation, then your interaction with the subordinates. So you have to follow organizational code of ethics in order to align your uh, everyday duties with the organizational ethics. Second, it's the industry. Well, while working in an industry, for example, if you are working in automotive industry, so suppose if you are working for Kia, There are also other automobile firms, like Toyota is there, Suzuki is there, or other firms are there. Now these all working in auto, all these firms, they are auto industry. So while you are working as an, suppose an auto industry, so all those firms, if we keep Pakistan in mind, all those 5, 10, or 20 firms, I'm not sure about their specific numbers. So you also have to maintain these ethical rules and relations with the industry, right? So the industry has its own professional code, code of conduct. And then there is profession, like your professional societies, a professional society of like Pakistan Engineering Council. So they have their code of conduct, and you have to follow them, right? Then you also have to take care of clients and consumers. Obviously, every product you design, that is for end users. So while their welfare, their safety, that also needs to be kept in mind. And finally, you know, uh, being human beings, of course, we have our own families also. Uh, our siblings are there, parents are there, our children are there. So while dealing with them, that also requires ethics, right? It's not somebody is a very skilled engineer, but when it comes to family matters, he or she is very poor in handling them, or he or she is very ethical at the workplace but is very unethical in the family. So understanding ethics at all these levels makes it bit complex, and it's not a straightforward 2 plus 2 4 formulae. So one has to look at multiple sides while dealing with ethics and engineering. Well, there are goal of moral commitment, because ultimate purpose of ethics is moral development. These are some like 5 goals of moral commitment. Number 1, moral reasonableness, that is the willingness and ability to be morally reasonable. So every professional, or rather every member of society, whether he is a professional or not, should be willing to have ability that he has is morally reasonable and acceptable for other fellow human beings and even for other creatures. Number 2, respect for persons, that is genuine concern for the well-being of others as well as oneself. So it's not only being self-centered, thinking only about you or about us. As I have already said, we should be having respect if we are at workplace. So respect for our seniors, for our subordinates, for everyone. That is our moral commitment. Number 3, tolerance for diversity. So within a broad range, respect for ethnic and religious differences, and acceptance of reasonable difference in moral perspective, right? When you are working, you're studying at a university. So as a student, though, you have less interaction with each other these days, but in physical classes, students, at least at NAD, because I have more experience at NAD, they come from all parts of Pakistan, and some of them are even foreigners coming from other countries. So there is diversity. They have different languages, they have different cultures, they have different religions, they have different school of thoughts. We have both male and female students. So this moral commitment also teaches us having respect for diversity. If somebody looks different from me, it doesn't mean that person is wrong and I'm right. If somebody is belongs to another gender, like I'm male, so I shouldn't be having negative opinion about female. So difference, male and female diversity, cultural diversity, religious diversity, linguistic diversity. So this moral development prepares us tolerance for other religions, tolerance for other cultures, tolerance for opposite gender, and that tolerance is the goal of moral commitment. Well, moral hope is number four, that is enriched appreciation of possibilities of using rational dialogue in resolving moral conflicts. Well, as long as human beings interact with each other, they are bound to have conflicts. There can be moral difference of opinion, but how to sort out that difference, how to work out that difference, it should be a reasonable way of having different opinion, and then a rational dialogue to resolve that difference, and have respect for each other. The last one is integrity, maintaining moral integrity and integrating one's professional life and personal conviction. So, you know, uh, when people know that you are a professional, like you are an engineer, they also expect you to be a good human being. They expect you to be a positive member of society. You know, they expect a reasonable behavior from you. They expect you to have tolerance. They expect you to have thoughts that are fruitful and useful for uh, other fellow human beings. So that's it. In today's lecture, we have actually covered basic understanding of ethics. Now, in upcoming lectures, we will move to specific topics that are included in our course about professional ethics. So, thank you very much. Inshallah, see you in the next live